It's great to see you all. Great to see everybody on the screen in remote places. Glad you're here. I'm very excited to be here. I haven't been to this part of the world in a few years. I did some work with Ray Maloof, if any of you know him, a while back. And I have been to Beaver Lake quite a bit, which is one of the most beautiful places on the planet. It's really cool. But as Amy said, I am the head of marketing and employer brand for a company called Allegiance Global Solutions. I work for the RPO division, so you Korn Ferry folks, I understand your pride and frustrations all at the same time. I know how this job goes, but I've been in recruiting since 1995. I've been a TA leader at a Fortune 500 tech company. I've been a consultant. Amy was asking me earlier, what are some of the most interesting companies that you've done talks like this for? And I've done these all over the world for Microsoft and Amex, HSBC, MetLife, but also for a lot of the companies that provide our technology. So I've gotten to go to LinkedIn and train LinkedIn's US sales force on how to use LinkedIn better. Fun stuff like that. I got to train recruiters at Twitter and Hootsuite. And so I bring a broad perspective. I study the market and I study what we do for a living, but I always consider myself a recruiter first, no matter what my job is, right? I'm a hunter, and no matter what kind of cool technology we get served up, hunters want to hunt, don't we? Yes, we do. That's exactly right. All right, so, there's me. What do you think? Pretty close? Good likeness, yeah. Couple of things. I'm at Fish Dogs. If you're currently tweeting about what you're hearing, I'm at Fish Dogs on Instagram and Twitter. More importantly, I am the proud father of 3 amazing boys, so I'm a very busy dad. Their ages 11, 13, and 17, and we're all over the place with sports. We live at Grapevine Lake outside of Dallas, Texas, in the Grapevine South Lake area, so it's football crazy right now still. All right, I want to tell you a couple of things that I've learned from being a part of the Candidate Experience Awards for the last few years. So I'm a member of the Candy Council, I'm on the Candy Board, and I have taken a few companies to win Candidate Experience Awards. Of the top 10 lessons learned from the Candies, the best 6 are all about better communication. And so we're going to talk about doing some small things today for the next few minutes. And my question first to you is, I realize that you all have a big task here, a monumental task. You're trying to combine several brands and get sort of a homogeneous system to work through and a place to do your work and a common way to do it across a broad area and a lot of people. And that's a big thing. And so my question is, what's big to you, right? How do you break down a big task? Small tasks, right? And so if you think about every little bit of communication that happens with your candidates, every time you have to communicate something, you put that little extra effort into it. Every time, then that becomes a big thing eventually. If you win a race, or if you even train for a race, you know that you don't have to win that race by this much to win. You only have to win by this much to win, right? But it's every piece of training that you do that makes that tiny little edge. So every time you sharpen your saw, every time you learn something, every time you do one of the online courses that your company recommends, every time you do social talent. How many of you are ninjas now? Ninjas? Social talent ninjas in the room? All right. Well, if you're not, you should be and will be, I guess. And I'm a big part of that platform, so I know it's good. All right. So some of these takeaways. Take a customer-centric approach. One of the trends for this year has been live chats with recruiters, right, through any online system or career site, and chat bots. And I've got some stats about chat bots that I'll share with you in a few minutes that I think you'll find very interesting. Hopefully you all have phones, and hopefully you all have a way to talk to your candidates. But you are going to be texting with them sometimes, right? You're going to be messaging them in all different kinds of platforms. just do it, and do it like you would a friend. Assume the friendly posture, and people will want to be friends with you. Every little bit of communication we do is really, really important, and especially closing that loop. All right, think and act like a marketer. So with your audience, who is, a different audience for each of you. You all have different types of people you recruit, but communicate, educate, nurture. Think about your silver medalists. But the things you post online, the things you post on your LinkedIn page, on Instagram, on Facebook, on anywhere, I'm telling you that the stalkers that you're stalking are stalking you back, okay? This is what we do for a living. We are professional stalkers, right? And they're gonna check you out. Immediately they're gonna check you out. And if they can't find you easily and see interesting things about you and your life and your perceptions of the world, and maybe some things you've shared that might help them get a job better, they might talk to the next person who is more open and friendly. You'll see right on my LinkedIn page, if you connect with me, and I hope you all do, right in the middle of my summary, I say, first and foremost, I'm the father of 3 amazing boys, and we live by Grapevine Lake outside of Dallas, Texas. People get to know me better before they even have to decide to call me back. Does that make sense? And then there's links to everywhere else they can find me in my LinkedIn profile, so that I'm inviting people into my life so that I'm more human in 3D very quickly than the next person that calls. Walk in the candidate's shoes. How many of you have applied for one of your own jobs recently? You need to do that. It's critical, because you'll find a lot of times that there's a glitch, a hitch, or something else that is gonna trip up the process. Other things, prepare your candidates, right? Make sure that they're ready for the interview, make sure that they're ready for the process. The next steps and follow-up. I'm gonna show you a candidate journey map in a minute that will kind of show you the highs and lows that we stretched out for one of our customers. And it's very interesting once you understand what your candidate's going through. The places where you should be following up that maybe you're not can make a big difference. And ask them relevant questions. Have you ever gotten on the phone with somebody to interview for a job and they didn't ask you anything relevant about that job or your own skills? Candidates want to talk about their own skills, so ask them relevant questions to them. And then communication and feedback, again, closing that loop is the main thing that you can do to make that experience better. You talk to thousands and thousands of people every month who will talk about their experience with Walmart from that perspective. All right, so you can do a little bit of design thinking to get inside the candidate's head and understand what they're going through. This is an empathy map. This is something I highly recommend you do with your teams. This is a great exercise. You basically decide who's your purple squirrel unicorn. So for this exercise, we did this with CA Technologies when I was a TA leader there. And we decided that our purple squirrel unicorn persona that we were designing recruitment efforts for was a 27-year-old Latina STEM Stanford grad. Hard to find. But when we broke it down and said, okay, we know this person's 27 years old, we know they're Latina, we know they're a Stanford grad, we can guess some of the places they might live if they're looking for good tech jobs. We can guess some of the things that might be interesting about their lives. Do they coach soccer? Do they have kids? Do they still live at home? Do they play soccer? Do they exercise? Do they have needs to travel if they're 27 years old, right? A lot of millennials just want to make enough money to travel. They may never own a car or a house. You can make some assumptions, and this is a marketing exercise that we go through to discover who our customers are and know more about them. But when you understand, what do they see when they wake up in the morning? Probably their phone, right? They're looking at their messages and Facebook and things like that. Maybe Instagram, who knows? But you understand where to advertise, right? Do they take the train to work? What billboards do they see on the way? Things like that. And what are their needs? Do they care about money as much as prestige? Do they care about development? Once you understand sort of who they are and what their pains are, you can actually post things online yourselves to address their gains about your company's awesome culture and things that might help them get through their day better and do their job better. So it's not just the marketing efforts by the company that are going to build the employer brand and the candidate experience. It's every little marketing effort that you all can do yourselves. Think like a marketer. And so the way to do this exercise is you create your persona. Okay, this is a different persona than I just discussed. But then you take your team and you give them all multicolored sticky notes and a Sharpie. And you fill in these quadrants with 1 or 2 or 3 words, okay? And then you've got a picture of who your candidate is. Take a picture of that and save it, right? And develop that persona. And then you can create the journey map of their highs and lows. You know about them, you know who they are, you know what their day's like. And then walk through every step of the process. Apply to that job. Interview for the job, right? Go through the exercise of how you actually feel. It turns out that one of the lowest points in a candidate's journey for a lot of different types of skill sets is directly after their interview with a hiring manager. And the reason for that is we, as recruiters, don't get back to them quickly enough with any feedback. There's this big waiting period, and they think, oh, I must have failed. And if you know this, right, if you understand what that journey is, you're suddenly turning a big task, which is hiring some one person out of 10,000 applicants, into a series of small steps that you can take with your best candidates to help make them a better fit for the organization and the organization a better fit for them. So what's big to you? Okay, a couple of things. Let's talk about diverse workplaces real quick. Diverse workplaces are 2 times more likely to hit financial goals or exceed financial goals, 6 times more likely to be innovative, 30% more revenue per employee in diverse workplaces. Okay? These are big numbers. So, a couple of the things you can do, and we're talking about breaking down big tasks into small steps, how to be better at being a diverse organization in recruiting. Use better words in job descriptions. Words like committed and dependable are better than dominate, challenging, and brilliant. Look at your own job descriptions. How many of you have literally written all of your own job description recently? We don't. We cut and paste that stuff from old job descriptions, right? And that's a legacy thing, and it goes on and on and on and on. If we just use simply better words, we're much better at attracting a more diverse candidate pool. Use diversity in your employer branding imagery. So 51% of candidates are more attracted to job postings with images or videos. And pictures are actually better than videos in your job description, turns out. And you can show your company's diverse culture this way. Candidates also really like to see pictures of your product or service. So use diverse people in pictures of your products or service who work at the company and show the culture at the same time. And you're killing it. You're nailing it. The 2 in the pool effect. This is fascinating. If you have 2 females in the final candidate pool versus 1, the odds are way more likely that a female will get hired. And this could be a pool if it doesn't matter how many. If you have more than 1 person of color in the pool, they are something like 179 times more likely to get hired than if there's only 1. Okay, this is a Harvard Business Review study. And then word of mouth. You have diverse people in the organization. Get them talking about how awesome the company is, and get them referring people to you, because that's how you grow the organization in a diverse way. All right, a couple of tools you can use to find content to share online so that when your stalkers stalk you back, right, they can see interesting things about you and interesting things that might help them do their job better. This is called Crowdfire. It is free. You can download it on your iPhone. You can also access it from your desktop. But you just put terms in it, and then it will push content to you about those terms. And you can also put the websites that you read or that your candidates might read in it, and it will push articles to you from those websites. And then you can share across your social channels. I tee mine up once or twice a week. It takes about 5 minutes. And then all the cool content that's coming out through my social channels is automated. Okay? Now I look at the articles to make sure they're interesting, and I write a little comment on them before I put them in the queue, but it spreads them out across multiple days, and so my week is full of content across my channels. This is easy marketing. Okay, we talked about AI, chatbots, the automation thing that's going to take over all of our jobs. Turns out it's not, right? Automation is just like a mobile phone or the internet. None of that actually took over all of our jobs, right? So it's just a tool. Chatbots are great to help sort of expedite processes. And I did some research with candidates to ask if they felt comfortable or uncomfortable actually dealing with chatbots and AI as part of the application process. And it turns out that the vast majority said they're pretty cool with it. But at least 18% in every category said somewhat not cool with it at all or extremely uneasy. And so the message there is we still need that human touch. We still absolutely need to make sure that we're doing the little things every day that keeps them feeling comfortable about the situation. Be human. That's the bottom line. What's big for you? Little things every day. Thank you. That's my dog. Quick question. What's my title? Nobody remembers. How many kids do I have? Where do we live? Be human. Love you guys.